Want to know what investment has made the most millionaires in America? Because it's not the stock market, it's not real estate, and it's definitely not crypto.
To add text to OBS, it's incredibly simple. You don't need to add extra graphics unless you want something super custom. Go down to sources and hit the plus button. And you can overlay text on top of anything you want, really. Hit the plus button, go to text GDI plus. It'll bring up this menu, and I recommend calling it whatever the text is going to say. So I'm just going to call mine the name of my website. As you're following along, you call yours whatever the text will actually say. It really helps you sort it out later. You'll have this text properties menu here where you can select your font as your first field along the way. So just for the sake of this tutorial, I'll just choose any font, but Arial will do Arial Black. You can choose your font style here and also the size that you would like, and you can do effects such as strikeout and underline if you would like. And there's also a ton of other writing systems available here in a bunch of different languages. It's not just English as well. So OBS is incredibly versatile, and the number of default fonts is pretty massive. You can also install custom fonts on your computer, which will show up in this list if you decide to do that. So Arial Black is what we'll do today for this particular font, this particular tutorial. You can copy paste the text from something else here if you'd like, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to type in the name of my website, awaldigital.com, in all caps, and I recommend enabling anti-aliasing by default, but you can turn that off if you'd like to save system resources. Under text transform, there's a bunch of different options you can choose from here, which can transform all of your text to uppercase if you want, everything to lowercase if you want, or start case just by default. This is especially useful if you're copy pasting content from some other source. Uppercase is a good general default to have your content be seen. As you could imagine, you can choose any color you would like, and you can choose the opacity of the text. So what is opacity? For those of you that aren't familiar, well, it's basically transparency. So at 100%, the text is completely visible. At 50%, it's 50% visible, and at 0%, it disappears. So you can select your opacity for the text, and you can choose any color in the entire spectrum, including custom colors here. You can even pick a color from your screen here, or enter custom colors based on brand specifications, similar to any other colors menu in any other broadcasting program. Go for it to your heart's content. Choose whatever color you'd like. You can also enable a gradient, which is incredible. You can start with a particular color, let's say it's white, and then as the text kind of moves from one direction to the other, you can change to a different color with a gradient, something that's available in programs like Photoshop. So let's just, for this example, select, I don't know, red as our gradient color. As you can see, it went from one color to the other, fading from white down to red in this example, and you can choose the angle that the color comes from. So 90 degrees will go from top to bottom with your gradient color, and as you change the gradient direction here, you can make the color come from any direction, like the left or the right or whatever, depending on which angle essentially you want the color to come from. I'm just going to do left to right for simplicity's sake at 0 degrees. You can also add a background color behind your text. In this case, I'll select a color that will just stand out. It'll be ugly, but it'll stand out. Yellow will be our background color behind our text, and you can bump up this bar right here so you can actually see the background. So let's say you needed a high contrast background so you could actually see your text on top of it. Boom, there it is. Choose your color, put that background behind it so it actually stands out against whatever content you're putting your text on. Really cool. Especially if you have very complicated looking footage with lots of elements, having the background there can really help you out. A black background would be a good standard. You can change your alignment on the fly for all text, center, left, and right. I don't need to explain that to you guys. And you can also do vertical alignment with top, bottom, and center, depending on your preferences. Very standard stuff. There's also an interesting outline feature here, which those of you that use Photoshop will be familiar with that. You click outline and you can choose the size of your outline. So let's say you want your outline to be gigantic. You can do a size 10 outline. You can go up to a size 20 outline. And as you can see, it adds an outline around every single letter to make it even bolder and easier to read. The design you see on the screen that I'm using is really ugly, but you get the point. You can choose the color on that as well as the opacity, similar to all of the other fields located here. As you can see, text in OBS is incredibly customizable. Once you hit OK, you can take your text and place it wherever you want in your project, resizing it, putting it into the corner, whatever you want. And oh, if it disappears, what happened to my text? Right click under sources,